Well, I'll tell you, yesterday, I think um, it was a little hectic, having to run to the hospital thing and all that. And then we were going to do shopping. And there were good people out there, but of course, the evil was out there again. We got stabbed again. And of course, I do rebuke and repudiate the evil witch and all them that is of darkness. We have no agreement with them, of course. Um, we're sticking with the light instead. We're just going to continue on up. I also pray that whomever it was that stabbed us, I'm sure it was the evil witch, that's what they're known for, whomever it was that was putting this damage on us, this, illness or whatever, it's a stab in the back. I pray that heaven catches them now and makes them pay reparations for any of the damages they may have done to us or our organs or anything like that. And of course, they pay for that and in kind, and or it's put to labor, generating the energy to make those repairs, and then some. Several times over is the way it's supposed to be. Heaven, amen. In the name of the Prince of Peace, our Father who art in heaven, amen. So yeah, we've I don't know when that happened. It was last night, maybe early this morning. I don't know. I can't remember. I remember feeling it happen, but past that, I don't know. Yesterday there was some of the songs, that says somebody's looking for you, or that you're maybe going to meet someone. There have been. I saw the Black Witch was on there yesterday. Said God, quote unquote, well, whoever that is, because I doubt if it's Yahweh or Christ, has decided that it's time for you to meet with your kingdom spouse. Huh. Well, it's been a long time, hasn't it? That God, that's that's pretty damned amazing. And or that you would maybe perhaps reconcile with your kingdom spouse. And the songs were there, and I thought of one of them that I think of as Nightbird. And then I thought of this other, whenever they were talking about, that old song, will you meet me in the middle, will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show that you do care. And there was an old lady in there yesterday in Sam's that walked by, and she seemed significant. She was reminding me of somebody or someone, something, and I kind of put me in mind of one of my aunts. And she was dressed unusual for an elder. I think it was all black with leopard print trim, perhaps, which that, caught my eye. And I thought that was very strange, But in the world that I've seen, strange is just common, isn't it? And so much of what I would have looked at 20 years ago and thought, oh my gosh, it's so terrible that people are acting like that. It's become so terribly common, it seems. So I guess, and plus with everything that we've gone through, I mean, my God, and as many times as we've gone around where they've been around, to attack us, but never speak to us about anything. I don't know about this love game thing. It's very strange, but the story I heard afterwards, and let me go ahead and finish the rest of this. So we go to check out and everything, and we're going out, and I'm like, I can't remember, did I park in that row or the other row? And so I tell Cardiac, you just stay here by the loading zone, and I'll go load this stuff into the car and bring it back and get you. No reason to have her out there walking around trying to find a car. So that's what I did. And whenever I came back to load her up, that old lady was there again. And I don't know if they were in a scooter or if they were in a wheelchair or what. It seemed almost like they were in a wheelchair being pushed by somebody whom, for some reason, I never did look at. I never actually looked at that person. It was so strange. But my focus was solely on the old lady. But I glanced at her. She was happened to be out there, where the cardiac patient was waiting, and so there they were again. And I was just loading stuff up and all that. And I looked at him, and I kept looking at him, and I even said something about him to the cardiac patient as we were getting ready to pull off. And then I started pulling off, and I don't know what happened, but somehow, for whatever reason, I looked back, and I saw her head fall as though her heart just broke, and all her, everything was shattered. And at that moment, I believed she was there for only one reason: for me to see her, perhaps recognize her, and if not recognize her, at least interact with her, perhaps. I don't know if it would have helped, to tell you the truth. The one thing I did notice about her is I looked at her and I said, well, she lost on the same side as me. That seemed apparent to me. And she wasn't in good shape, and I didn't feel good about it. I felt a couple pangs of sadness yesterday. And I think it was masquerading as empathy or sympathy, like with the cardiac patient. That's not a happy situation. But I just looked at her for a moment, and it just didn't feel good, But anyway, we have to keep going forward, don't we? I'm not exactly sure what happened with the flurry of messages yesterday that were to indicate that perhaps it had ended, or I'm on my own. Grace was back on the radio saying, don't you want somebody to love? Well, I can love the light that has become a part of me and them that are there. I do love them. So that's for sure. Now, if there was anybody else I was going to love, that would be hopefully to help them, wouldn't it be? So that maybe perhaps they could come up. I heard the term chain of love again the other day. And I do believe in it. It is a true, real thing. I really, truly do believe. And it's because of the light. It's because of him. I saw Pastor Lawson yesterday, and he too sounded a little different, and the message was different. And he was talking about the fruits of the flesh. And he goes much deeper into some of the words to find extra meanings. I think it might have got him into a little trouble at one point, because he is a curious fellow, and he is an investigator, and that's not bad, except whenever it gets you in places where you don't want to go, like me, and or get hurt. That's when it's bad. That's why it's a lot better to just be a Christian and trust in the Lord, and not venture off into all those places to find out what those people know. I wonder what you want is happiness, joy, and love and light, and to become more and more a part of that instead of the other. Sure, everybody wants control, I guess. I think that's inherent to all of us, and I think that's the part of the walk with the Lord above that is the most challenging, because we want things and we want to do stuff, but people don't realize, that we're supposed to be changing. Although I think it's a good program. You start growing up, fall in love, get married, you have children. And those are particular challenges and spiritual mechanisms that work right there for you, that is going to progress you as a soul. But in any case, hold on. Yeah, again, back to, he was talking about the fruits of the flesh, and I need to write these things down and carry them with me, I think. And just use the old translation, the original translation, the King James Bible. And because these words that he uses, it was Paul, I think he said, wrote it. And see, here it is. I don't even know who wrote that, which I should. And he was pointing that out as a man, a preacher. He should have known the Bible better, or like he would have later. Which again tells me, I'm probably going to be referencing that book for all of eternity. So I might as well get to studying on it again. I do feel a little better. But yeah, the thing of the fruits of the flesh, and with the envyings and the hate, and you can take those things at face value. And envy really is wanting what they have, okay, instead of just wanting something like what they have. Now, what he said was, it may be a person who wants to make sure that you don't have what you have. Not that they necessarily want it, just that you shouldn't have it. Well, I don't know. I think that goes beyond just simple envy. That's something else. That again sounds like pure evil. That's what it is. And whenever you get into the fruits of the flesh and you delve into those words and you see how deep they can go, and look in your own mind or understanding, with the Holy Spirit as to how evil can be, well, you don't really even want to know. You see, the truth of it is, you don't want to know. Part of the walk, hopefully, which has been apparently taken away for so many people, is the maintenance of innocence, and or the restoration of innocence. I think that's something of what light does. But this, all of it seemed to take me back to the Wicked Witch. Now, was she evil as the day is long? Well, I can't say. I can't see the contents of her soul, but everything that I've experienced suggests she already went over to the other side. There was no way back, and I don't know how. If possibly everything would have went absolutely swimmingly, I might have been caught up in a relationship with her of some sort that would have prevented her from going by the wayside. But it would have prevented me from being what I was supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? And I can't do that. There might have been an agreement of some sort made at one time when I was standing between life and death, I think is possibility, in some type of dream world. I'm not discounting it. All I can say is I don't know of any such agreement. No one informed me of such an agreement. You'd think that if any agreement had ever been made, that the two people could get together and go, you agreed that this would be the case, and I would do this and you would do that. That never happened. And plus, again, if you were in partnership with someone, wouldn't it be a partnership rather than them trying to tear you down and stand on top of you, to get on top of you and eat you up alive and take everything you got? I saw one of them the other day, and they were saying, they had a big attitude about it, and they said, you ain't shit, quote unquote, if you have to tear somebody else down to raise yourself up. Well, that's what was done to me, kids. These others didn't raise themselves up all of their own volition. They're pretenders. I mean, I'm sure they know how to look like it and dress like it and even be like it for short periods of time. As far as I can tell, there's a lot of people out there that's been taught mimicry, where they're just trying to, with their mind, adopt a certain vibration. Like it's all an attitude. Well, it's not. It really isn't. And if you think so, just go test it. Go see if you can, if your little attitude thing, your mimicry, is solid whenever it comes against a challenge. That's why you don't want to go that way and be your own God, but instead be a part of the light. Be part of Him. You really should believe that you're in a world that is a world for prisoners. Those that have already been condemned for whatever reason, a bunch of sin or something, right? And it's not that they are hated or anything like that. It's just that the sin can't be brought into heaven. But there's this one guy, okay, because the God he saw all these bad people who were not really that redeemable or anything. He said, well, okay, I'll give them to my son as a starter people and and project. And in other words, he's growing his son. And he'll have something similar to what he does, only he'll be up to his right hand and he'll be, you see what I'm saying? It's for Jesus, through Jesus, by Jesus. It's all, you really ought to consider whenever you look around at the world and see just how evil is, you really should consider again that there is only one way out, and it is by any other name, the light. There's a door of light. I'm convinced it's the kingdom of light and life. You can only choose to be with either the kingdom of light and life or the darkness. Now, if you circle back and forth in between, like you're a double agent or something like that, which is something I guess I had been doing, and probably for good reasons, probably for reasons that served his purpose, hopefully. You don't want to do that because, hey, you might not, you'll get into places and things that is bad for you, and God knows if you'll get out. That's why you want to stay close to Jesus and that name, that title, Prince of Peace, the whole concept. You want that completely drilled into your mind because it is a choice between, the sacred and the profane, light and dark. And when we walk through challenging times as we have, well, I'll tell you, your sense of reality could disappear very quickly. And right and wrong, that's challenged. This whole thing with this woman I saw yesterday, I feel sad about. I did. And I heard a song about how someone loved someone very much, and it sounded like one of those things where they're not together thing, and the one that loved him very much either built him something or bought him something, and they were making it great or something like that. I think it was something they were going to share together maybe, or was this simply going to be a gift? I don't know, because I couldn't hear the song. There was a lot of chatter going on at the time, but it sounded like one of those things and it didn't work out, and so they're going to go to heaven now, and they're going to leave that person they love with this thing that they made or built, some kind of gift. And if that's the case, God bless them. May the heavens open up the doors and, let them in and bless them for all the good works that they've done here and all the help that they did give to us. Again, this whole thing yesterday about, you're on your own or something, you don't need anybody, and you do what you please, this and that. Well, not necessarily. I've not ever been one to not be able to follow good direction, which comes from good authority, of course. But if what your game is, you're my competitor, and you disagree with me in every way, shape, or form, and you're going to turn the world into black instead of white, and you're going to make all the kids sexual perverts by the time they're 8 and make everyone fight, that's not a partnership. That's not friendship. That's not love. That's just you're the enemy. And regardless of how real the world is, how tangible it is, or what kind of a dream we're in, that's just how that plays out. You can't be completely and totally evil and just shit on a person again and again, and do it publicly too, ridicule them and such like that, and then expect to be able to say something like, well, but you were supposed to know I still love you. You can't do that. Love is like the light. I know I'm loved by God because the light did come down to me. It may have started to go away from me, but it came back to me and is married to me. I know I'm loved. And I'm loved, I know, because there are people who have carried my weight, which seems very clear all of a sudden. And this whole material thing, we would have advanced past, I'm sure by now, if we hadn't been punished so very much for trying to do things like fasting. So if things have worked out badly in a deal that we had, I think they worked out very badly about 16 or 17 years ago. Back whenever I'd already been almost halved, you know, and I don't know how, again, I don't know how any such arrangement would last more than a year. And then, but somehow they managed to make it go 20 years. And in that time, I don't know what happened yesterday. It's just something that happened. Or is it because I grew, or because I stepped up one more step? Or I know I heard some of them talking about how, well, if you just growing will cut cords with some of them. I know that I think uh, they had been trying to implant something here on my shoulder, and it was going to move up onto my scalp and that kind of stuff, and hot, swelling the tissues, and so on. I do believe they were trying to establish a base there. But that's been eradicated, thank God. Praise to the good Lord, our Father in heaven. Watched that little Jordan fellow today, and he was talking about getting away from the low vibration, and the thing of it is I think it's sort of like that song from a long, long time ago that I gave up all the lower vibration passions way back when, possibly when this whole thing started, which would probably all be around the time that we fell in that hole. That's the only time that any kind of agreement like that could have ever been started. And of course, you're going along and you listen to Billy Joel talking about how only the good die young. And you're thinking, I should be dead by now. In a more ego-driven moment when you want to claim yourself as good and such. But now I kind of feel that was a very, again, like so many of the other songs, very much personal. Well, see, that's the thing. If you have a good nature, okay, then sooner or later, when you finally figure out, wow, evil is really real, very real. It's so real, I've discovered it's very tangible. It's, well, I just keep on seeing that old lady, and I keep on thinking, man, maybe there had been some kind of a thing or deal. I'm sure that it's best for me to move on past this, because the simple fact of the matter is, it's also I'm reminded of the dragon, the old dragon who, one that is probably responsible for these people putting their diseases on me and stabbing me in the back and stuff. And how they realized whenever the light came to me that was the game. Now that happened a long time ago, but and they again I see where people should have let me go, like whenever they cut me in half basically. When I say goodbye, when people should let us go, and I don't like the fact that there's been any suffering. I really don't. It would have been better for everyone involved if we had been informed, but I do suspect the whole reason why we never had a conversation about anything, or to clarify anything or to verify anything, is because if they had that conversation with me, I would have looked at him and went, well, no, I'm going to go with him, the big guy. I don't care about being a rock star. I don't care about this. I don't care about... No, I'm sticking with the people of the light. It would have been just so obvious at that point that it would have been like the biggest sabotage to their own plans possible by informing me of what was going on, because I would automatically gravitate in the opposite direction. Why? Because I'm a white kid. I belong to the sky. I belong to the sky. The sky took me, and they're keeping me. So it's me and the white people and the blues and the light. Goodness. And yeah, water has been a part of us, the living water. And the light, living water, the spirit, air. That's why they depicted me as a cloud for a few years there. Yeah. Yeah. So Jordan was talking about staying, trying to come up with the higher vibration stuff. And apparently he was trying to give us the creative visualization technique where you see a thing and you decide on what it is and you discern all of its aspects, and then you start tracing the steps back to you. That's what that is. And it's a form of goal attainment. You say your goal is to be the CEO of whatever. And so you see, what it is to be the CEO and how that person acts. But it's a lot more than just how a person acts or vibes. It's their knowledge, it's their skills. But anyway, you then say, well, okay, you'll have to go do this. You have to have that degree. You have to have this kind of experience. You're going to have to work up the ranks and have these jobs in your resume. And then you eventually make it to the place where you could be considered as the CEO or for being the CEO of whatever organization you're trying. Now, the obvious thing is you can shoot for the stars, right? And if you miss, well, then you probably get the moon. You see what I'm saying? I think that's how that old saying goes: is shoot high and aim high, and you have to end in a place that's much higher than where you're at, because you did all that work trying to get to that one place. Even if you didn't get to that one place, you still got to these other things and rose up in life and were able to accomplish basically whatever it was you were trying to accomplish, which was gain money or something, respect, something. You were after something, and that's what creative visualization gets. He was talking about this again. I'm thinking, well, again, that's craft. That's kind of the witchcraft thing. That's again, you're being in charge of everything, right? And see, more than anything, we've been trying to have a relationship with God. Yes, we've spoken and prayed and in His name, and they call that lies. They say I'm a liar because I pray, but then they say that they're a liar and they can't remember their lies. And I can show you mine. I've written most of my prayers down, or a version of it. The things I say and pray, the things I'll sing. It's all written down in one version or another. And it's not everything I pray every day isn't exactly the same copy of what I've had written down prior, but it's all there for anybody. Anybody want to see what I've been praying is, I just show them right here. And like, what? If you're a liar, you're going to owe for that. And I'm like, well, I hope I do. I hope I owe them, the sky, heaven. I know the light is with me, so I know He knows me. And I know that whenever I was on fire, He responded to me at least 3 times or 4 times within the moment, within the second of either my thought or my request. So somebody has gone through someone or somebody, something has gone through a great amount of trouble to convince me that in fact He is very real. And I too truly do believe in Him and all of them that are of that nature. So it goes back to, if you do have a good nature, then as soon as evil really does become apparent, you're going to go away from it. You're not going to be. And I do remember them saying that you're trying to tell this person they've already changed. There is no agreement. There's no union because they've changed. They've gone on. And it's true. We have. And we're going to continue on. The diet went really well yesterday. I think I had 5 sweet tarts maybe, and 2 cups of coffee. And today I'll have a cup or 2 of coffee, but then the rest of it more than likely will be water. And I think that the rest of it's all going to clear up very soon now, and we'll become productive again, because that's what we do. You got to keep running. or at least until we get to that point where we can stand with the Lord. Now, do we get to rest in heaven forever? I doubt that, until we've accomplished certain things that we were trying to accomplish. And maybe we were trying to accomplish that with the evil witch. Maybe I was supposed to take that in hand and show what to for and what not to do, or the door. But I don't know anything about any of that, do I? Hold on. Well, of course, anytime I say hold on, there's likelihood that I should just go ahead and, if I was on the computer, edit this and put, and now for something completely different, right? Well, apparently my voice has returned to normal again. I think, yeah, I'm supposed to have a little bit of this whenever, that bedroom voice. Maybe. I don't know, but it's not as boomy as it was. But apparently it's easier for me to utilize and do. I don't have to relearn my voice. So, yeah, so who knows? That might have been Stevie Nicks out there for all I know the other day. It's, but I'd think it would be them that have been persecuting us so much. I don't know. And like I said again, I got stabbed yesterday twice now, it looks like. And so we're praying against that. We're praying to get our backing, the kind of backing that ends backstabbers and other assassins from us. And we pray that we continue to rise up so that we get above these people altogether. I heard that they were like committing to being our enemy or something. I don't know why. See, again, this is about as messed up as anything could be, because it started out as like, hey, it's a love thing, and what that's about, caring for people. But I was being consumed the entire time, so I don't think it was about love. What do you think? Anyway, I'm really glad that we're getting free of it, and that we'll be able to move on past that, because I am not magic, and magic is not me. I'm not the witch, and the witch is not me. I'm not the night. Night is not me. So we're just going to be light, and heaven makes me the day without the other, so I'm happy about that. Guys, again, thanks for all your love and support. Yeah, we saw some good people out there yesterday, and a lot of pretty women too. And I'm telling you now, that part in me that does respond to makeup and those lashes, those ridiculously silly lashes, they catch my attention. I don't like the fact that I can scan across quickly a crowd, and then there's this one chick that's got these big crazy lashes on, and all of a sudden she gets attention for a moment or two. I don't think I'm pleased with myself that I'm still susceptible to cues like that, programming cues. That's what that is. But there were nice people out there yesterday, and attractive ladies. And I thank you all for your contribution, all that you're doing to help. I know that things will be getting lighter. We're all going to be losing weight now, and we'll start making some progress here in the next couple of days. Especially if we continue to feel better. Hopefully we'll be able to get safe and not be attacked and stabbed in the back and stuff. God love you. God keep you.